these other new players that they haven't faced yet. There's lots of people that are coming up first times on land from the winter qualifiers. It's just the most exciting part of the game, in my opinion, the early strategy portion.
I mean, game number 2, you know, what do you think is going through a lot of these guys' head right now? I mean, they're sitting out there away from us, you know. Their nerves are kind of calmed down. They're starting to get into a little bit of a groove with these games. But Kitty, you've played, you know, you played in Korea. You've played in a lot of these competitions. How do you navigate this as a player? What are some of your tactics that, you know, to calm your nerves and to get settled in and kind of just go with the flow of things in these games?
Take a few deep breaths, remind myself I've got nothing to prove. It's still a game. It's going to be fun. Don't think about the fact that there's a huge prize pool on the line and hundreds of thousands of people watching. And just get into it. I think a lot of these guys early game, they need to make that decision. Do they want to be an early aggressive team, or do they want to just wait to get that loadout? Do they want to wait to have those resources and feel comfortable before making those rotations and finding early engagements? So I love to see Dementos and Base Soldier playing together. I had a chance to talk to them briefly yesterday, and they're both very excited. They're both very talented players, and seeing them together in this event, I think they can make something happen here. One of my favorite landing spots is Mansion.
It's a classic.
There's a plane spawn in the bottom. It's amazing.
I mean, we've got a little bit of early action going on here. It looks like Dementis and Base Soldier were not the only 2 players that decided to actually drop here. So we've got a little bit of a scuffle starting. Started early. 0 players have been eliminated. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, we've got Dementis on top with the high ground, and Base Soldier taking shots from the side, but ooh, he does get shot with a pump shotgun, managing to take down Tom.
Base Soldier kind of just trying to navigate the basement here, go through his builds. These players don't have very much when it comes to builds right now, so he's trying to reserve, use maybe just a couple. The edits are coming out here. Looks like they're having a little bit of a dance battle. Clingers are back in the game, however, so we will use those to break down Mateus's metal. He is very low on mats, so he is looking to kind of come back and disengage. But let's just take a look and see how Base Soldier navigates the rest of this fight. He looks like he's trying to pull a little bit of a flank on him, make the walls his own so that he will be able to easily edit. But it looks as though his other soldier, Dementos, does have eyes right now on Mateus. So they're tracking him through this basement, all the while just getting down, boogieing and discoing the whole time. My goodness.
Yeah, having this music in the background, it's definitely a difficult area to fight in because you don't have the same footstep audio that you typically would in quieter areas of the map. But it looks like they are unable to locate him quite yet. I'm surprised that they do opt to join up together, and he's gone. He's gone. Where did Pookie? Where?
Mateus said, "Listen, guys."
He went down and you know that plane spawn I was talking about earlier? He found the plane and he headed over to this nice little turtle structure to get some loot, and those 2 are still searching him over that in-game music audio. I don't think they heard him.
I don't think
they
didn't
hear
either.
the plane.
Not at all.
Wow.
Here we are in Tilted. We see Slobbings and FPS. Talked to Slobbings a little bit yesterday. Did you know that man is an incredible singer?
I did not know that.
He is so good.
Did he sing for you?
He did. He sang me Fly Me to the Moon.
Whoa.
Yes.
How did I miss this? So not only does he love going tilted and is an incredible fragger, he also has an incredible voice.
He's great. Look at him there.
Well, keep that in mind, ladies, okay?
Let's take a look over at Jamok and see what he is up to. He's got his partner here, Kevy. They're over
Retail Row.
Yeah.
South of
Retail there. Down by the plateau, which is one of my favorite areas to snipe from. Good high ground, good vision into retail. They're looking to possibly engage and clean up here any early fights. It doesn't look like there's been very many. We still have 96 players alive at this point, Kitty.
Yeah, that is absolutely insane, considering there's only a certain amount of points of interest on this map. Having your duo partner, you're bound to run into people, and only having 4 players eliminated, it definitely looks like these guys are taking more of a passive role. Maybe after game 1, they've realized how important it is to get those placement points, not playing as aggressive. We did see Demo and Tifu take advantage of that big bonus, but the rest of the group wasn't able to do that. So definitely focused more on placement, positioning, getting that loadout that you're comfortable with, and then moving into the next zone.
Now, the players have been here for a couple of days. We've been fortunate enough to talk with them and kind of talk strategy with them a little bit. And, you know, I think the general consensus yesterday, or what I was getting a feel for, and you can definitely correct me here if I'm wrong, but a lot of the players said that they were going to, like you said, take a more passive approach, try and get to the end game, and then just third party quite a bit to rack up those kills, get those eliminations, and get their points that way. And I think, honestly, that's the general consensus at this point.
Yeah, definitely with these guys. Those late game engagements are super, super important and do really help get those eliminations. But we do have these guys maybe looking to get an engagement on the east side of the divot. They're hurtling up against these natural resources. One of my favorite things in this game are things like the rocks, so things that you don't have to build, where you're not going to give clue to the other people that you're there. They're able to get a shot on Patek, I believe his name is, and he he does see the engagement. These guys aren't really pushing, just, you know, making sure that he knows they're there, and now rotating into the next zone.
And he does take shots at that new infantry rifle, just added into the game today. So if those of you at home have not tried it out yet, highly recommend. Has an excellent rate of fire, does a ton of damage, and is super accurate. So if any of you kind of like the hunting rifle and the heavy assault rifle, this is kind of an amalgamation of the two. You're going to love this weapon.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to use it yet, but I've seen a lot of the players choosing to pick it up over other weapons, which is great to see. I love when they add a new weapon in the game, and it's something that the pro players are immediately picking up and taking advantage of.
Certainly, and we see Patek here and his partner kind of just rotating. They did have to kind of make their way into the zone. Next zone is coming to a close in 33 seconds, so, you know, where they're kind of at right now, they may start to get into a couple of engagements here just based off of the rotations from the other players coming into the zone and trying to get into the circle. They did take a couple of shots, but they are going to head up to the diner here, where they are going to be met by another duo. Tendons and his partner are there, and I know they know that each other is there, so we'll have to take a peek back later and see what's going on. But right now we have JDW, Ronan, Germ, and Age is kind of at a turtle war. We're going to have to take a peek in their little shell here and see what they've got going on.
Oh, wow. I think JDW just went down to a third party there. Ronan and Aegis choosing to probably take down these walls. Oh, yeah, you see the shots coming in right now.
We do have third-party shots coming in. So this is going to be interesting here.
Not something you want to happen. When you're so focused on the audio in your turtle war, you do not notice that third party that comes in. The wall could have gotten shot out behind you, and before you know it, you're down, which is like what I think happened to these two. And now taking advantage of those stink grenades, unfortunately, oh, just in time with those explosions, he gets the revive.
The revive, the resurrection, the revive. But we are going to see a lot of third-party shots coming in here. Frosty is down and is trying to crawl away. I think he's afraid of getting hit with one of those stink bombs, it looks. I mean, those will take you out very quickly if you are down. 5 damage per tick. So you know what? You got to be very careful and very mindful of where they're coming from. Kind of excuse yourself from the situation, if you will, and crawl over to safety so you can get revived by your teammate. We have JDW here trying to get into a little bit of a build battle and take out some walls, make them his own so that he can edit and effectively use the shotgun to get some damage out on Aegis. Aegis does drop down, however, and does look like he is going to be starting to turtle. So there's a lot of edits going on, a lot of building, not too many shots being taken. These players are still kind of getting a feel for each other. It is only match 2 for those of you that are joining us from at home. So we have a ton of exciting Fortnite plays that I'm sure we're going to be seeing over the next 4 matches.
Yes, and $100,000 in prize pool to give away to these random duos we have with us. But keep in mind, the zone right now is in that top left corner of the map. These guys are now recognizing, is it worth it to take that engagement to fight the other team at the cost of taking that extra storm damage? So you see Aegis is finally making his way out. He does escape with his life, and I think it's just the storm pressure on the other team that causes them to rotate so early. And
you can see there, Aegis' stats did pop up. He had over 12,000 build damage, so damage to structures done. That just goes to show these guys really aren't taking shots on each other. They're just destroying their builds and trying to, you know, play the game that way. It's not a bad idea, actually, with the way this game mode is set up. You know, you only have 500 of each material, so resources are stretched very thinly, and if you can utilize shots to take out your enemy's resources, that's just another way you're going to put yourself in a better position for endgame.
And I think what a lot of that was the Turtle Wars. It's the removing of the wall, replacing of the wall, removing of the wall, replacing of the wall, little standoff that they had at the south side of that zone. And right away we see these guys getting advantage of the mountain, taking that high ground near the center of the circle and using those resources to build their little one-by-ones and hopefully take some advantage of shots on these players as they rotate in.
Yeah, we did get a look over there. Jay Cuddy over in that area. You know what? I just have to do it. I have to say it. Have to shout it out. Jay Cuddy turned 26 years old yesterday.
Oh,
so happy birthday to Jay Cuddy. I hope he does well today. That would be an excellent birthday present. But we do have Dark in 72 hours here, engaging with a couple of other teams.
Persecute up top high ground. We did see Dark in 72 hours take advantage of fights like these in this last game, and now they're looking to do the same. Dark taking shots, taken out by Persecute. Now it's up to 72 hours to take advantage. He is in a 1v2 situation. Do you see that at the bottom right corner, there's another player that looks like they're pushing in. Oh, using the heavy sniper, taking out the wall, and pump shotgun to the face is going to put him back in the lobby. But Persecute and Zykick taking advantage of those two and the way that they were split to get those eliminations.
Now we do see Tfue and Demo up on that mountain there, just kind of assessing everything. We have Zayt down here using the SMG to try to break through his opponent's structures so that he can, you know, just utilize the potential RPG, shoot the RPG through the window. This Zayt has a ton of weapons in his inventory right now that are excellent for breaking through structures and walls very, very quickly. So we're going to have to see how this kind of develops. We have a lot of players in this area all trying to get to the ultimate high ground that Demo and Tfue, they've already claimed that real estate.
Those guys are relaxing till the end game where hopefully Demo is able to perform the way he did in the last game. And you see Zayt and Blue Tea taking advantage of that split fire. They've positioned themselves a little bit separated so they're able to shoot at different walls while their opponents were trying to get those heals off. Does cause them to maybe get a little bit more confused, not be able to put those walls up right away and get tags on them. But they do now make the rotation to the other side of the mountain, maintaining that high ground and just perch up on the side here.
We still have 37 teams alive, 69 players in total. This mountain is going to end up being a very hot spot, I think, for these guys. You can see that Junk Junction is still in indeed, but there's really no one in there. All of these players kind of gravitating towards the high zone.
Butter.
I see
Butter is still alive. His partner,
and Aiden.
Butter's story is really interesting. He was with us, helping us practice a few of the things, and now he is in the skirmish, hoping to do his teammate Aiden proud. Already knocked, but he's able to make it into the, make it this far in the match now, looking to get into the zone. He does have other opponents around him. Looks like two of them are fighting in the zone right now. Just got a knock on him. Oh!
Butter does take a lot of shots here. He's trying to determine where the shots are coming from. Unfortunately, was not able to. That was Bowman coming through the storm and taking out Butter. That's unfortunate. But in case you guys are just joining us, we are here at this secret skirmish at an undisclosed secret location. Game number 2 of duos. We had Tfue and Demo take game number 1 with a total of 11 eliminations. Can't wait to see how they fare in this game. But we're looking at Nick Merckx here. Nick Merckx is arguably, Kitty, and I know you're going to agree with this, one of the best controller players in this lobby. He's so just methodical with his shots, and not only is he very mechanically gifted, but he makes excellent rotations and excellent decisions. So him and his partner, Harmful, I think are going to fare very well today in this duos tournament. We have Dakota kind of sneaking up a little bit on him here. But this is, I think, at this point, just going to be, you know, a little bit of a turtle war again.
A little bit of a south standoff. They do have that rift secured. They are camping it, waiting for the next zone to pop, and now they need to make a decision. When are they going to use that? Are they going to take this time? Oh, and it looks like soon, because the other team above them decides to to use it and make the decision for them. And now they're taking the Rift and probably looking to take that best position advantage. Where do they want it? Do they want original high ground? Do they want to make their own builds? Or do they want to take advantage of another team that's already built and build on top of them? And you see Harmful pushing up to the base of this build with Blind, who we saw who did excellent at the Ninja Vegas event, and build their structure. Now they're going to look to take some shots on the enemy teams pushing into the zone.
Yeah, and you know what, while we're sitting here kind of waiting for everyone to get into the next circle, why don't we talk to Cypher about some of the mid-game highlights that we've seen so far?
Absolutely, guys. We got some early action with Ziff and Pavzi in a 2v2 in Lazy Link. Ziff takes out Devious, and Pavzi is holding the high ground right here on top of Monster. They both pressure him from different angles, and they get these first two elims to start off round 2 of the Secret Skirmish. Great play and great positioning from both these players. Over here, we have Sheep in a 1v2 situation against Grenades and Nate Hill. He takes out Grenades and Thurston for the shield, and then after getting into a bit of a build fight with Nate Hill from the low ground, he's looking for that angle. Eventually, he takes out Nate Hill with the SMG spray into the pump shotgun shot. Very amazing play from Sheep. 1v2 against 2 of the best players in the world. Guys, let's kick it back to the casters to continue game 2.
Yeah, and there we have Sheep in Junction, still alive. He does not have a teammate, but that didn't seem to matter in that last engagement, so it's going to be interesting to see what strategy he decides to take moving forward.
Sheep is looking very, very confident. We were, you know, like I said, talking to some of the players yesterday. Sheep comes into these LAN settings, and he's very calculated, clinical. He doesn't let things get to him too much. So having Dopai kind of out of this match, I don't really think is going to affect him very much at all.
No, not at all. And right away we see 51 players still remaining. It looks like they're building a new Tilted Towers here in Junction. And looks like Sheep has found his way onto a legendary RPG, which you can only achieve now from the supplied crates. That's a new change in the recent patch, one that I really, really like, and I'm glad they made that. And you see him watching that wall. He knows another player's on the other side of it. You see the little breaks coming in, and he's going to make sure that as soon as that goes down, he's going to get his own wall there and not be edited on by his opponent.
And we're taking a look at Germ down here in the bottom right-hand corner of this screen. He is also playing a solo game at this point. Kitty, what do you do? You're alone, your partner's taken out. How do you navigate that? How do you really, you know, take that game? It's not impossible to do. We've seen it done so many times. Give me a tip.
I think you play it out exactly the same way. Make sure you're getting those great rotations, and you have no one to watch your back, but these guys know how to build. They're very, very talented solo players, so he's just going to make sure that he gets in his zone, he feels comfortable, and he relaxes. There's no pressure on him to fight. He really wants to be getting those placement points and taking advantage of that. So you'll see him just here turtle up, take advantage of the chaos of the 47 players that are left in this 5th zone. And yeah, I think he's just looking to make a little bit of noise now, get those edits, and just make sure that he knows who is where and not put himself in a bad situation.
Yeah, definitely. Now we can see here shots are starting to just fly around the map. Things are going to start getting way more chaotic as the next circle closes in. Here we go. This is it. This is the moment. This is what all of these players are in scrims doing every night, training for this exact moment. We have Kayuzi there, Vide. We've got Mateus hunkered down in a structure as well. Psychic, Persecute, also in a metal structure. Everyone kind of just wanting to take shots, but you don't want to draw too much attention to yourself at this point, because all it takes is one other player to notice your head peeking out, and you will be sent back to the lobby.
Oh, and right into that 1v1 of Bizzle, one of my favorite players. He's already done 471 damage this game. His partner, Triggy Soares, is a controller gang player, and I think the two of these matched together is going to be amazing. Bizzle is known for his great strategy, his clear rotations, and his great game sense. So having a teammate like Triggy to help him secure those eliminations is going to really do well for him. But oh, and these guys are sitting on a rift. That is an ideal situation. And Sheep able to pick up another elimination, or 2 more eliminations since we've seen him. Absolutely outstanding solo gameplay.
Like we said, he does have that RPG, does have the compact SMG and the shotgun. He is going to be able to heal up to 75 with the bandages at this point. But Bizzle and Triggy utilizing, like you said, that rift to go to gain high ground on all of these players, and they still have a launch pad on top of that. So mobility going into these end circles is very important. Bizzle and Triggy Soars, they got it.
Yeah, Bizzle is meticulous. He loves the high ground, and you can see him talking a lot. He is making most, if not all, of the in-game calls right now for his teammate. And like whenever we go to these high ground spectators, it is almost always Bizzle that has that high ground. And you see him making a push over, and nobody really noticing that he's up there right now. There's a little bit of chaos now that the zone is going to be a moving one, and you see everyone down below. Mid ground, high ground, low ground, everyone doing their best to get to zone, and hopefully get some tags on these guys as they make their rotate.
Yeah, Bizzle trying to take shots to, you know, when you are using your glider or your umbrella, you are vulnerable for a moment. So Bizzle really trying to capitalize on that, get as much damage as he can. Even if he doesn't get a knock or an elimination, it doesn't matter. This is endgame. All you want to do is try to apply pressure, try to get damage on your opponents. It doesn't matter if you get the elimination or the knock. You're wanting to apply pressure so that later on, they're just easy targets to be taking out.
Yeah, there's no way that these guys are getting the revive now with these moving zones as well. So that knock pretty much equates to an elimination. And we see Ronaldo and Saf, who currently have 5 eliminations, taking advantage of the stink grenades and the clingers. One more elimination is going to put them in that 2-point range for the main board.
And they just got it.
And
there it is. Saf secured it. So
speak of the devil, these guys.
Look at you.
Amazing job.
You are just, I mean, you're...
Oh, and Bizzle, Triggy, like I was saying earlier, that firepower. When you put a controller player on the high ground like that, especially one as amazing as Triggy Soars, he is going to be getting those eliminations. And these guys are now at 7 eliminations, heading towards that big bonus territory after that 8th. Amazing job. I mean, and ultimate high ground. Like, what did I say? These guys.
You've got the premonitions today, Kitty. You want to make a prediction right now? Right now. Quickly.
Bizzle.
All right, she called it. Let's see if she's right.
There you go. Triggy getting another elimination on Kiwi Face. Just totally dominating the field, blanketing across, and now opting to drop down a little bit more. See, Bizzle is so great at this. He knows exactly when he needs to drop down just that little bit, and when things are starting to get a little bit scary, you never want to hold ultimate high ground when there's not as many players. Now there's down to 4 players. It is Triggy versus, I think, Ronaldo and Saf still, and these two 2v2 situation, and this matchup absolutely insane.
Triggy is going to drop down a little bit.
Takes out Saf.
He takes out Saf, however. Triggy does go down, but it doesn't matter. Bizzle is there. Kitty! Oh my goodness!
Oh, do I get extra points for that? I mean,
I think you just won the duos tournament. I think we just give it to Kitty at this point.
Wow.
Everybody watching at home, put it down in a notebook somewhere. Kitty's got the premonition. She's got it.
And can we talk about the fact that in game 1 we saw Demo win, and now it's Bizzle winning? Here's the final moments if you missed them. Triggy knocking Saf, Ronaldo coming through and getting the knock on Triggy, but Bizzle with that high ground, able to take advantage of the rotation from Ronaldo into the storm, knowing exactly where he's pushing and getting that clean pump shot on him. I think we're just about to see this, and boom.
There it is.
Oh my gosh, congratulations to Bizzle, the teammate of Demo. Absolutely incredible job. Bizzle. So proud of these two.
Bizzle.